All right, well, that first little piece of the paper, that's just to help me. So this is the beginning of notes on significant figures. So you should have already written these notes in your notebook so that you should be able to follow along and add little pieces as you're going along. All right. So we are starting at the top where it says quantitative measurements. Quantitative measurements are measurements that are in a definite form. All right, they're usually numbers. So it would be like if you had 5 apples. So you know you have 5 apples. That is a quantitative measurement. It's not 4.5 apples. It was 5 apples. All right. That's what quantitative means. It means it's a measurement that involves numbers. The second one says qualitative measurements. Qualitative measurements are descriptive. They're not numbers. Like my shirt, you might say my shirt is yellow. Some people might say my shirt is gold. Some people might say it's canary color. Some people might have another color. They might say, I don't know, something else. So it's kind of a little bit more opinionated in regards to what that is, and that's what qualitative is. And also, as you look at those two terms, quantitative, maybe you can see the word quantity inside of it, meaning quantity meaning a number. Qualitative, you should see the piece that looks more like the word quality inside of there as to what's the quality of it, not quantity. So, all right, so that's the difference between those two as to what they are and what kind of measurements they are. And we're going to, significant figures actually relates to quantitative measurements or measurements that involve numbers. Now, the next two terms that are on here, accuracy and precision. I kind of believe they are two words that have always been kind of interchangeable by a lot of society, but the reality is they are not the same. There's a difference between the two. The first one, accuracy, is how close you are to a correct measurement. An example of this that I like to use is a target. So if I have a target, all right, there's my target, and if I were shooting a bow and arrow at this, and I hit right here, would you say that I was accurate? Yep, I was accurate because I hit the center of the target, which is where we were trying to aim for. So that's what accuracy is how close are you to the correct measurement or the correct answer, right? If I shot out here, right, then we would say that this measurement right here is not accurate because I didn't hit the center of the target, right? So how close you are to the right measurement is what accuracy is. So let me get rid of this guy now. We're going to go back to that one. Now let's look at what precision is. Precision, you have to have more than one measurement. So now we're looking at a group of measurements. Precision is reproducibility of measurements. In other words, getting the same answer over and over and over. So let's say a person shot at this target, and that was their first shot, their second shot was there, the third shot was there. Were they accurate with each shot? Yep, we would say they were accurate because they hit the center of the target each time. Were they precise? And precise means did they hit the same spot all 3 times? Well, yeah, we would say they were pretty precise because they hit the center of the target all 3 times. Right? So that's considered to be precision, is a reproducible measurement. Now we do a different one. I'll try green. If all of a sudden I have somebody shoots this way, and all of a sudden I end up with these 3 X's over here that are green, were they accurate? Nope, they weren't accurate because they didn't hit the center of the target. Were they precise? Yes, they were precise because all 3 times they hit in exactly the same spot. Now, if any of you are hunters, you can probably tell me what's going on with this gun if this was a gun that you were trying to get ready for deer season with. And I would assume if you were out practicing with your gun to get it ready for deer season, you'd be aiming at the center of the target. But every single time, it comes up over here. What's wrong with your gun? Again, if you've done hunting, you'd probably say your sights are off. Your sights are not set correctly. So you've got to mess with the sights and get them so that where you look at, that's where the gun shoots at. Right? So when you have measurements that are not accurate, but they are precise, like the green ones over here, then what we say is there is a problem with the device that you're using. The gun was messed up. It wasn't the person that messed up. It was the gun that messed up. Now, if we were inside the lab and I told you to go to the back of the room and I wanted you to measure the mass of an object, And I give you this object, and you go back and you measure it, and you bring back up, and you're like, okay, this is what the mass is. And I'm like, nope, it's not wrong. That's not correct. It's not accurate. Go back and do it again. So you go back and you do it again. You're like, do it again. You're like, I'm still getting the same answer. And you come back up and you're like, Mr. Pay, I got the same answer. I'm like, it's not right. Go back and do it again. And you go back and do it again. You're like, oh my God, I'm still getting the same answer. And you come up and you're like, why am I still getting the same answer? So then we go back and look at your device, your balance, and chances are we'd probably find that you didn't zero out the balance. In other words, when you started it, you made sure everything was lined up at 0 and the balance lined up at 0. We'd probably find out when you do that, the balance would be off. So every single measurement's always going to be off by a the same thing because the balance is off by a little bit, right? So we could say again, you would be precise because every single time you're going to get the same answer, but you're not accurate. And again, the problem is there was something wrong with the device. The device was what was having the problem or having the issue, right? So that's the difference between accuracy and precision. And again, I think a lot of people use them interchangeably. In reality, they are not the same. Now you're going to hear in the next video concerning significant figures, you're going to hear a lot of references to this idea of accuracy and precision again, because that's what this idea of significant figures is all about. So this was part number 1. Make sure you watch part number 2 in regards to significant figures.